back in the civil rights movement, when they sang certain songs, they would hook up, elbow to elbow. We hook up, and I want you to know all across this world, this is one voice.
We come with one voice, and we join the voices of all of the Christian churches throughout this state of North Carolina.
We as clergy declare today a moral emergency. This is a justice emergency.
That's right.
Since and during the Chauvin trial, we've had the death of Dante Wright. We had the death of Donovan Lynch in Virginia Beach. We've had teenagers killed.
On the morning after the jury rendered a verdict on the murder of George Floyd, the North Carolina Council of Churches issued a statement. We were cautiously hopeful that the verdict was a turning point, that now we could have real accountability. And then, less than 24 hours later, Andrew Brown Jr. was shot in the back. Enough.
That's right, enough.
Enough.
Welcome to the Black Belt, one of the original pre-clearance counties covered by the Voting Rights Act of 1965, where the interlocking systems of racism, poverty, and militarism work so tightly together that minorities find it hard to breathe. This Black Belt is a fertile seed bed for the racist patterns and practices of white power in the South.
We come to say with one voice that a warrant is not a license to kill. This is not the mythological Wild West, dead or alive. A warrant does not give someone the permission with a badge and a gun to be a bigot and to be trigger happy, and certainly not to intentionally murder or execute someone.
Thank you, Reverend Barber. And on behalf of the Brown family, we appreciate the clergy standing in solidarity with the family. Well, the city cameras were released earlier today, just before we went into the meeting, and it shows a pickup truck full of deputy sheriffs riding on the back of it. As soon as it round the corner and blocks Andrew in, they get off the truck shooting. Get off the truck shooting. We didn't see that yesterday. That's what they redacted.
That's right.
They didn't want us to see that. Yeah. So even if he had time to try to do anything, they didn't give him time. Yeah. They got off the truck shooting. And like I said yesterday and earlier on today, he was trying to save his own life because they had no regards for it.
It was obvious they were trying to provoke our brother Andrew Brown as they shot and killed him and tried to show that they had to do it. And of course, we know now that that is a blatant lie.
Mr. Brown had his arms up on the steering wheel of the vehicle that he was then located in. And what happened was that there were four bullet wounds to his right arm. These bullet wounds, according to the autopsy, were more or less glancing shots. They were not fatal shots. So he was able to back up as these shots were coming into the vehicle. He was able to back up, turn the vehicle around, spin off across a vacant lot, and at that time, he was hit in the back of the head here, and that is the fatal bullet wound that was described in the death certificate as a penetrating bullet wound to the skull.
In these Black Belt counties, there's often been an unholy unity with DAs, the judge, and the sheriffs when it comes to black lives, might I say brown lives, might I say Native American lives, and even poor white lives. It all connects together.
I call on my white brothers and sisters to confess, or confess again if you're a little bit woke. Confess again that we have been a part of this racist system. We must repent from passive acceptance of this system and move to active resistance to this system.
People have been asking me, what can we do? If we're not African American, where do we stand? If we're not part of the AME Zion Church or a church, we are the church. We need to understand that your part is to start with what's right.
And there is no way out of this, America, except when it is known that murder, assassination, or execution happens, that there is accountability.
A decision is needed now to call on this officials of this city and county to be accountable for the actions taken to take the life of Andrew Brown Jr.
And accountability must mean arrest. That's what they would do to me if I shot somebody in the back. You get arrested. Then there must be prosecution without immunity. You cannot have an immunity just because you happen to be a police person. And then we need federal laws that standardizes this, because the problem is too often people know even if they get arrested, they're going to get off at the local level.
The North Carolina NAACP asked U.S. Attorney General and North Carolina Attorney General to investigate the obvious cover-up in Elizabeth City.
There has to be federal guarantee of prosecution if the local doesn't work. Then there's going to be time where there must be payment, but it can't just come from the taxpayers. It needs to come from these killers and their pensions. And then we have to have pattern and practice review, because whenever you see folk do what we've seen now on these videos with impunity, there is a consciousness that it'll be all right. There's a system, there's a certain sensitivity that I'm gonna get away with this, and I can do it. And too long has it been that you can be shot in the back or in the front with, look, for air fresheners, for selling cigarettes, for being a little child, or for being served a warrant. Those days must be over, and a new reality must begin. We will no longer stand for the days in the South when we put up with law officials and DAs that were inept, incompetent, and incapable of dealing with the matters of justice. And you can mess around and kill one of us and raise up 10,000 of us, because there's power in the blood. The blood fertilized the civil rights movement. The blood fertilized the movement against the war. The blood fertilized the fight for voting rights. And that's the difference. When you kill one of us wrongfully, you may kill them, but we rise in their name. Say his name, Andrew Brown. Say his name. Say his name.